bitch, I do my dance in 99 Ranch.
So we're with Sam Field today, QPR player, footballer, but we're going to get to know Sam today, a little bit about why he's joined Bearhug and why he's a bear ambassador.
Yeah.
So Sam, how are you, mate? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm delighted to get involved. We were saying earlier, it's actually a product I've been using myself. I wear the knee one, I wear the calf ones, I've even got the elbow ones. I've got quite a few now, a proper collection, and it was something that I would actually wear before bed, and it's something I've actually, it's a bit in my routine now, and it's so constant in my daily habits that it's just something that's so normal for me now. And yeah, it's nice to get involved. It's nice to, you know, see other people using it, other professional athletes. It's I find that really engaging, and if it helps someone in a way, then great. That's what I'm here to do. And you know, if my name can help, then great. I think obviously rugby, there's lots of injuries. Football there is, but maybe they're not as on the same scale sometimes.
So in football, like with rugby, like I've had my shoulder done, my elbow, my jaw.
Yeah.
But like in football, what kind of injuries do you sustain with that?
I guess so. I've done my ligament in my knee quite a few times, but it's quite a lot of muscle injuries in football. Hamstring generally are the ones. Touch wood, I've been quite lucky. But you can get ankle ones. It's an array, I would say. For watching rugby from afar, your guys are much more contact. Ours can be quite muscle related sometimes, but annoyingly they're very hindering, and you know, there's always a player getting a scan every week. It's how it works. So yeah.
Because you were saying earlier about you had your little routine with your bear hugs for your knee, having them. Recover overnight as such.
Yeah. So before a game, I don't know when it started. I've done this for years now, and I would just start wearing the knee one and the ankle ones, and I'd wake up the next day and just go, oh, feels just I don't know, just feel a lot looser, just to feel good, and it's almost like the leg feels warm, the knee feels like it's moving properly, and it's just something, especially going into a game, that I really like now. Because
that's how I came about it. I started using bear hugs as recovery, more so not as support. So like you were saying, you use it to actually feel better in the morning, you go to bed, so you got 8 hours of recovery where you're not doing anything, you're getting the blood to it, and obviously the support, the compression helps you feel good in the morning and being able to walk around.
That's you've hit the nail on the head. It's one of them. Obviously, it might be that orange is quite. You know, we like that it stands out. We say now I've spotted a few people running before and going, oh, there's Bearhug and stuff. And obviously, you know, in football kit it might be quite hard if we've got white kit to have the orange stuff on. But before, you know, the best way to do it for me is the recovery way. And I know it's probably designed a little bit differently, but it's whatever works for you, and that's, you saying, so it's found a way for you, it's found a way for me, and that's what I like.
How do you find, like, currently you got an ankle injury?
Yeah, so I'll be out for 6 to 9 weeks with this ankle injury at the minute, so yeah, a couple of ligament issues there.
Have you been using the Bearhug for recovery or anything?
I've just stayed off it for the minute, but as soon as I'm out this boot, I will be back on it, probably wearing it to bed, wearing it around the house. I like that support. The materials, it's actually a really nice feeling, to be honest. And I remember the first time I used it, you were stating how the next day you just noticed a difference. I remember the first time I used Bearhug myself, and I think it was the knee one. I'm certain it was the knee one, and I went, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just thought I like that, I'm sticking with that. And in sport, athletes, we're all very superstitious, we're all very picky. Yeah, I like that, no, I don't like that. So when you find something that works, I know I'm one of them, I'm sticking with that and I'm doing that.
I think that's like refreshing to know, because like that's why I was in the same boat, used it once, and you're like, actually that does work, instead of you try something and you're like, oh, does that actually have an effect? So you got your skins, your recovery trousers and all that, but like when I put on the Bearhug, I put it on the first time, it just worked. And that's what is nice to get across, and the community like to hear, because for someone to pick it up off the shelf, they might think it's a normal knee support. You can wear daily, you can use for your walks or climbing or playing tennis down the park, but to actually use it as a recovery tool for those 1%ers as a professional athlete.
Exactly, and that, you know, we do so many recovery things, and they're all a bit placebo to a degree. It's what makes you feel good, and if this, I found something that makes me feel good, and that's what I like about it. And people say ice baths, and I do all that stuff, but like you said, those 1%, if it's just something that makes you feel better, and it's the knee support, it's the ankle support, whatever, I think that's worth its weight in gold.
So you started in West Brom Academy. How did you find, when you took that first step into the academy system, do you get fed stuff to do? And because it's different, with rugby.
Yeah, it's been my life for since I was 7, in the academy system. So it's hard to say anything other than that, to be honest. I haven't seen the world from outside it. Yeah, it was ingrained in us. We I would train 4 or 5 times a week, and the older you got, the more importance of, you'd understand injuries more and rehabilitation and, the demands on your body. The older you get, the more we got to grasp with that. And it's hard when you're young, 7, 8, 9, 10, you just want to play football, you're not thinking about it. And then you get injuries at 12, 13, 14, and you have to, even as much as you don't want to think about it, you're starting to understand the importance of your body and looking after it. And there's always a saying, the best ability is availability. That's something that actually is so important. And I've been through a lot of injuries and steps in my development, and that's all part of it, no different to anyone else. It's not a matter of if you get injured, it's when you get injured now in this day and age, unfortunately.
How did you feel? Obviously you have your setbacks, you had a couple of big injuries when you were younger. How did you cope with that personally?
It's hard, it's really hard, and it's easy. It's looking back now, it's easy, but in the moment when you're stuck in it, it's not nice, and you just have to persevere, to be honest, get your head down, very cliche, and work hard. And I always think you got to make sure your head's in the right space as well, attacking that, because it's not easy. And people go, oh, it's not, it's not that bad, you don't get to kick the football today, but it's like life or death to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is a bad day. It's not really. No one's died.
That's what I like, but I think we got the same thought process that you just get on with your work, and then that setback, you can either take it one or two ways. A lot of people take as a negative, but you could see as a positive to get other things right in your body.
Exactly, and this is what, especially with this one now, I'm taking it time to almost reset, fresh slate. Even if it's towards the end of the season, whatever, it's a chance to work on strength, work on flexibility, and work on lots of different areas, because obviously, look, it's difficult. Injuries, some are controllable, some are not, and this one happened to be contact, but I still want to take what I can and learn from it, and otherwise you just play the victim and feel sorry for yourself. And in professional sport, that comes back to bite you quite quickly if you keep playing sorry for yourself.
But it's nice to see that you sat on your laptop doing extra work, but it wasn't football work, it was your own personal development.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm 26, but sometimes people say
young.
I know, but sometimes in football that's like halfway through, I guess, and so I feel slightly old. And look, I understand there's a hopefully 40, 50 years of life after football, and I absolutely love it and I'm fully invested, but when I step away from, I call it work, but my job, then I'm me and I'm exploring different courses, different stuff, and I'd want to, like you said, he's learning about yourself more. Because I've had this since I was 7. I probably see the world a little bit narrow-minded, so stuff like that opens your eyes, to be honest.
So going through the academy system, how for rugby it's completely different. I played alongside boys, some great players, but then they just either go down a different path or obviously start working. How in football, how do you know the academy systems, how cutthroat are they? That's what, is it is it that bad? Is it?
Yeah. So you get in, there's retain and release meetings from the age of 7. They'll be getting rid of lads at 7, 8, 9, 10, and I've seen that persistently all the way through, and it's not nice. The percentages, it's like 0.1 or maybe 0.01% make it. It's something ridiculous.
But that's a level, isn't it? Because football is such a played in every park. I played as a kid,
and I think that's why people love it deep down, because it's so competitive, and one week you're the hero, the next you're the villain, and people love it, but it does make it much more competitive. And I got to be honest, I love that competition. I think that's what really engages me. And but yeah, it is cutthroat. But it'll be like any other sport. If it doesn't matter how many people play it, that there's always that cutthroat approach.
Yeah.
You can't, whether it's training on a Tuesday and someone says it's gone off the pitch, it means as much as it's on a Saturday.
Yeah.
When it's a penalty decision or whatever, that's how I've noticed we can't turn it off. It's there, and
But that probably makes you different to, not different, but like, it's probably players you've come across. Probably, you could be neck and neck, but maybe you've got that slight edge that have pushed you further where you got to in your playing career.
Yeah, you always have those thoughts of, but what if this happened and what if that happened?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have said I was a massive high flyer through the academy. I was good when I was 7, 8, 9, but being good at 7, 8, 9 and then good at 24, 25. I shot up when I was like 15, 16. I had an issue in my back, and I was growing into my body, and I wouldn't say I was performing the way I'd want to be or hitting the heights, but it's not always about being the best player at 14, 15. Yeah. Unfortunately, that tends to mean certain lads drop off, and it's those ones who just stay steady and keep progressing that I found that seem to make their way. So I do always think, what if that? And I'm sure there's lads I play with, they're thinking, I was better than him. I was miles better than him, which is fine. I've got no problem with that.
I think that's the hard bit. Like, that 16 to probably 20 is such a big window that players who have like ages 6, 7 could have been the standout players, and then you get the later developers. Say, I bet you've come across so many people that weren't in the academy system that all of a sudden they've showed up. And does anyone stands out to you on anyone you like when you're in the academy going, is it always they've been in the academy?
There's so many different journeys in football. This is the crazy thing. Someone can be at a Premier League club and be there for all their career, and then if they ever had to play down a division, might really struggle, might find it really hard. And there's some that go up through the ranks and might have played Sunday League a lot or amateur football, and we've had a few young players do that, and it's quite interesting to see how they play football. It's it's quite interesting. There's no right or wrong way. This is the beauty of it. It's the journey of it. And some people might argue me being in an academy from 7 is way too young. Some might go, no, that's when you've got to get them. You want every player to make it, but unfortunately that won't happen, and that's the brutal reality of it, isn't it? It's not very nice, but there's no right or wrong way. Some players are shining at 16, 20 and then have dropped off by 25, and then some players come really good. I've seen players come really good at 31, 32, and you think, well, everyone says you should be dying off now and you should be done, and you're like, hang on, they keep going and going and going. So I always think it's just managers will come and go. You'll change clubs most likely. You have to stick with being yourself, because you can't control anything else.
No, you can't.
The football landscape's mental, so I guess in other jobs you kind of have a bit more permanence in it. In football, well, we don't know what's happening this week. We'll see. Like, sometimes it can be like that. So
it changes week to week. So,
but we were saying in sport, you get so used to that. I guess for other people, you're like, hang on, I need a week's notice, or I need this, I need that. For us, it's fine, whatever. And I think that's probably because I've just been brought up in it and I've seen it for so long now.
But you've probably you said you've been brought into it, but you've been brought to adapt. So same as you're on the field. Say the team change formation or something like that, you got to change
definitely
on the fly.
You're 100% right. And look, they can go down. You can go down to 10 men. They can go down to 10 men. There can be a penalty. You can be 2-0 down after 5 minutes. I felt like I've seen the ball. I've seen the 2-0 down too many times, unfortunately. But it's one of them where, what do they say? Great plans are great until you get punched in the face, or boxing plan, whatever they're saying. It's like that. We can go Monday to Friday, get everything spot on, and then Saturday, and it can completely change. And it's the ones who can handle the stress of everything, because sometimes when you step back from it and you're not involved, you see it and go, wow, there's a lot of stress involved for everyone, staff, players, fans, everyone. It's harder to watch sometimes, if I'm being brutally honest, because when you're playing, at least I'm in control of it to a degree.
That's true.
Watching it is a nightmare.
I can't. I'm terrible watching it.
Do that. And you're like, oh god. Yeah, I guess I don't even think about that adaptability, but it's probably been. It's
ingrained in that sort
I don't even think about it.
As an athlete, I think that's what, obviously, Warren Gatlin's really big on that, how quickly you can adapt. So if training changes or something changes on field, how quickly can you change? And same with training, say like, I don't know, you got a waterlogged pitch and you need to go 5 minutes down the road to somewhere else, how quickly you can...
It's constantly putting out fires, sport. I think it's just those who would just like to take that on. So I think some people are built for that, and I'm sure same with Warren Gatlin, there's people just that calibre who really enjoy doing that type of stuff. And
the stresses.
It's stressful, but really enjoy those stresses, and when you go home and there's nothing happening, you're like, miss it actually, or I want a bit of that.
How did you find, because you've played Premiership football, how do you find the level in the Champ compared, like you're so competitive the Champ with you saying about how quickly the table changes?
So I've got not that much, a little bit experience in the Premier League, and the standard of those top boys is frightening, absolutely frightening. It's like it feels like they're playing a different game. And the speed, that it's a game. I feel like it's like a game of chess. That they're so good. They're just waiting for one little mistake and they'll bum bum bum. And the physicality of all those players now. When I was growing up, you had to be either fast, strong, or you could run a long way. Now, every player can do all three of them. So the standard of the game in the Premier League is frightening. The Champ's quite interesting because it's much more. I'd say it's a bit more of an even playing field, and anyone can beat anyone to a degree. You can have bottom of the league go to the top of the league and win, and it'd be quite a usual thing. So you go from Saturday to Tuesday, you can go from playing a team that are incredibly physical to the next team incredibly technical, and it's all in the same league. It's 2 days away. It might be Christmas, it might be snowing, it might be hailing. There's so many factors in the Championship. I think it's probably why, I think it's one of the most entertaining leagues because it's utter carnage. And sometimes I'm going home, pulling my hair out, I'm like, because you're thinking, how have we not won that? How have we not won? And then days you're going home, that was nice, that was good, we didn't deserve that, we won that. And it's the difference I would just say is probably, it's a tricky one. I would say Championship's quite an equal playing field. I think the top teams in the Champ are very, very good, but the rest of them, anyone can beat anyone on their day, and I think that's why it's so entertaining, to be honest.
So you use a lot of recovery tools. What do you find works best for you? So
for me, like with compression and stuff, I actually find the Bearhug is probably the best one. I've tried different stuff and it just doesn't work as well for me. That it's personal preference for people I know, but I just don't get the same feeling afterwards. I sit there a bit and I might wear the compression tights or the ones that pump up.
The blow up ones.
And it's just me. It's just I don't really feel it. Where the Bearhug, I generally feel a difference after wearing it, and I almost like it that much. And that compression is something that is obviously huge in like recovery now and stuff. So it's finding something that works for you, and for me, that's the one.
Right. So you've had Bearhug products. What's your favourite product?
So for me, I'm going to go, I think, just with the knee one because of the past issues I've had with it. Nice. And it's just, like I said, that daily habit. Just stick it on if it's been sore. Even after training, some days I'll just stick it on for a few hours and then they forget I always wear it. So for me, it's the knee one. It gives me just a lot of confidence in that knee, and even if it's just a shift of 1 or 2%, like I said, that's massive.
That's
all you need sometimes.
There we are. Knee supports.